Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, November 1st. Happy All Saints Day. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, still the authorized souls are only child souls from levels of the subatomic that are smaller than the levels in which we are experiencing sentience. And still we have a massive issue with presences from larger levels coming in. And we see how we contributed to that issue by calling incorrectly calling this way to the light without being more precise that we were only working, our intent was only to work with presences who were smaller than we were, and so we called down a screaming cacophony of dead people from above, and we get that, and we made that mistake. I did that. So lesson learned. We are going with the foundational assignment, which is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to manifest the divine plan, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing, and these are clang, ironclad contracts that there's no getting out of.
That's true.
With that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. I'm so grateful I got to see the vision realized. That's the word. I got to see it realized. I had the vision. I did the work. I carried it out. But it takes 15 years to grow a native woods.
That's true.
I got to see it. And now it's so beautiful that hopefully people will leave it. It's so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Hopefully no one will hurt it. All of us who want to participate in creating an escape route for smaller subatomic presences who really want to know what's actually going on, who are probably dead and who are trying to get to the light. All of us who want to participate in being a portal to the light for dead people from smaller dimensions. How about that?
That's true. Yes.
All of us who want to participate in being a portal for the dead people of the smaller subatomic to move through to get to the light, to the search for truth's central axis, all others flung away.
Better. I can feel how this feels different.
It does feel different.
This makes a whole lot of sense.
Go on.
When we were doing the other bifurcation call for all of us who are dead, it felt looser, floatier. It didn't feel solid. Like
wasn't real. It was like a decoy session.
Yeah, it was like a decoy session.
Yeah, you were doing a decoy session.
And like a decoy session, it doesn't register until you look back on it with more awareness. And it's like, oh shit, that feels totally different.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you were doing decoy work. We were doing real work.
Right.
A divisiveness was occurring. Something was pushing that one away, get away, go away, you're faking it.
That makes perfect sense.
Right. So we know this from the teaching years. This is a very common pattern. Students hit their wall at various and sundry points in the journey, and when you hit the wall, you back up a little bit, regroup, and then try again. Now we know from watching many students, not just watching, actively attempting to call people into their greatness, call students into their greatness, support them in living their soul plans, call them into their destiny, however you want to word it.
That's true.
Is that hurdle is still going to be in front of them. The hurdles don't go away. We can let them back up, regroup, take another charge, try and get over the hurdle.
That's true.
That works, and that's what we'll be doing here for a little bit and see how it goes.
This makes sense.
But the work still needs to be done because what's still happening is that this inquiry continues. We have, on instruction, flipped our working theory, and rather than assuming that we are physical dimension, really alive, quote-unquote, presences, and everybody else is dead.
Yes.
Just consider that maybe this dimension is also one of those fantasy worlds, and it feels every bit as compelling to us as those fantasy words. Nobody likes to think that they're living in a fantasy world, but it seems like we're all living in fantasy worlds, and we don't have to like it for it to still be true. And what do I know? It seems as though a really enormous presence died, and we're all a part of this big enormous presence, and this enormous presence died and doesn't want to acknowledge he's dead, or is afraid of the conversation, is how it feels to me. He's afraid he didn't live the life that he was supposed to live, which almost certainly he didn't, because that go with the odds.
That's true.
And he's afraid of the check-in conversation, and he has some combination of wishful thinking and low standards that is causing him to think he'll somehow make it better for himself by putting off the conversation.
That's true.
And so all of us, all these dimensions are a part of this big, huge presence, and it's affecting all of us. We're all a part of it. That's the ambient environment of vibration, is that we're dead, we don't want to acknowledge we're dead, and we're pretending that what we're doing is making it better, when what it's really doing is just making it worse for ourselves. And we should all just pack it up and say, I see that I'm actually dead. And that's a lot harder done than said.
That is super hard. That's true.
So what now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? Because this reality, quote unquote, that is actually a shared delusion, or that's our working theory right now. It's been our working theory for a week or so, and we haven't found a single data point that argues against it, which is kind of shocking. Not what I expected. I really thought that we would come across something that said, oh, well, quite clearly, we are alive, and all those other presences, their experience is different. But instead, all the data points are coming down solidly on the side of, geez, we are also dead. Somehow there was some event of mass death, and how long ago it occurred is an open question. But there was an event of mass death, and all of us are just continuing on. And what do I know? They're showing the Dresden firebombing, and the client from the healing practice who had died in the Dresden firebombing, and how those roughly 50,000 souls had risen up simultaneously, basically, from Dresden, and then just congealed into a solid layer of confused fantasy. They were living their Dresden lives floating above Dresden.
That's true.
And we seem to have done that on a larger scale.
That's
just
true.
like all those other presences. And what do I know? I know that there's so many of these fantasy layers now that it's exceedingly difficult for dead people who actually want to go to the light to even find a pathway. So that's something that we can do. We can hold open a pathway for people who are dying in the smaller subatomic, or who have died in the smaller subatomic, who want to go to the light, who aren't in denial, who know they're dead, or are at least willing to entertain the thought that they're probably dead, and who want to go have the conversation. They want to check in, be with their loved ones, plan a new life, and begin again.
That's true.
And in such a way, maybe we loosen the underpinnings of lies that are holding us in our lockstep delusion.
That's true.
That's a good way to be of service.
That feels good.
All of us who want to be a portal for presences from the smaller subatomic who are dead and want to go to the light, to the search for truth's central axis, all others flung away. And maybe we simply burn our entire experience of sentience with the intent to burn on truth, extract truth, and to send a flare up out the top of the head of the astral body or etheric body or causal body, whatever body we're still a part of this really large dead presence who feels male.
That's true.
Which might explain the predominance of male out-of-body presences, or be part of the explanatory process. Now there's big hoorah argument.
And that stirred up a whole big hoorah.
All right, well, never mind.
Stretching long.
And I can feel some man kind of like saying, why is my head on fire? It might not be phrased exactly like that, but it's something like, Why is my head on fire?
That's true.
Get this flame burning out the top of his head.
Can do that.
And what do I know? Things happen in dream states and in out-of-body states that are impossible in physical states. And so just the fact that we can get a fire going on some guy's head strongly suggests, and some might say proves, that's not a physical state.
That's true.
Friend, maybe your head is on fire because maybe you died.
Maybe
we died.
Maybe
We're part
we all
of you. You could think of us, he says, who are you? He's pretty freaked.
That's
you
true.
could think of us as cells in your body, but we're actually subatomic particles. But you can hear us, so you could think of us as cells in the body of you.
That's true.
And in your existing body, which is not a physical body. It might be an astral body. It feels kind of astral.
That's true.
We think we're all dead. We think you're dead. Can you see he's dead?
Yeah.
He's dead, right?
Yeah.
You see how you can kind of see through him?
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Do you have any doubt that that guy's dead?
No, I don't think I have any doubt.
Okay, well, we think you're dead. We think you're dead. I don't have any doubt that you're dead, or
I don't
the
have any
collective
doubt
of
that you're
presences involved with this holder or container doesn't
That's
have any
true.
doubt that you're dead.
No, the collective of presences in this container, actually, none of us have any doubt.
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, that's
You're
very
dead.
helpful.
You're dead. So, let's stretch longer. Stretch longer. Burn our entire experience of sentience with the intent to burn on truth, extract truth, and send a flare out the top of this guy's head. Somebody's asking why we're doing that. To try to get the attention of someone in an even larger level, someone affiliated with that presence who might help. In other words, we're still trying to get to a consistent source of significantly higher vibration. We're never going, this presence isn't going to stop. Whoever's speaking right now, well, now there's argument. There are aspects of this collective that aren't going to stop, and other aspects are saying they aren't going to stop, but they're lying just
That's
like
how
everybody
it feels
else.
Over here. That's true.
Lots of people say lots of things.
That's
We'll
true.
see, pal.
That's
we'll
true.
see.
Some aspects over here are saying I'll never stop, and it feels
Yeah,
true. And some aspects of
baloney.
cells are saying, well, I'll never stop, and that
Nah.
sounds like baloney.
Baloney.
That's true.
Well, now let's actually start to be a portal. Let's start to pump up from the smaller subatomic presences, calling into the smaller subatomic levels smaller than the levels in which we're experiencing sentience. For all of those who think they're dead, this way, through us, look up through us, move higher, look up to the light. Look up, move up, see those rings of light above you, up to the light, go up to the light, go up to the light. And speaking to the smaller subatomic, only to those smaller than us, move through us, this way, to the light. And to levels that are larger than us, we say, look up, see the rings of light, and go up the rings of light, through the rings of light, to that space of light. And each ring of light you go through, you're going to see another ring of light, and another, and another, and another, and another. It's probably maybe 10,000 times farther than you think it is.
That's true.
Maybe 100,000 times farther than you think it is. It depends what your frame of reference is and what your thinking is. But many people seem to think that heaven, quote unquote, or God, or the higher dimensions, or the light is just like right above their crown chakra, and it's so hard to get through the astral zones. It's so thick, and they're so packed that nobody's actually getting there.
That's true.
It's so high up. Come on. Let's hold the space open. Go up as high as you can. And when you start to fall down, as is inevitable, get off at that level wherever you are. Tell the presences around you what's been going on. Ask them to join you. Tell them you think that you're dead, and ask them to join you and go up in an experiment to see if we can actually get to a consistent source of significantly higher vibration.
Still going to have to deal with
I'm
it.
still going to have to deal with it. I don't have to like it.
I don't have to like
Better
it.
to say, oh my goodness, I'm tripping up over this.
I'm struggling
Okay.
really hard with
Let's
it.
back up. let's come at this another way. See if I can find another doorway I can align with.
That's true.
Because this particular doorway I'm struggling with.
That's true. That's actually a really good lesson.
Much better.
That's true.
And Black Wolf was the one who bailed, strongly suggesting, and some might say proving, that Black Wolf's just a dead guy, just like all the rest. Meaning, and what is that? Right? Meaning that not holding to higher vibration. The only difference is out-of-body presences who hold the higher vibration.
That's true.
They're not categorized as dead people. We've got a shortage. That's the only difference. If they can hold a higher vibration, then they aren't dead people. Otherwise, they're just helpful dead people, or sometimes not helpful. Either helpful or unhelpful. They're dead people, doing a variety of things. Some helpful, some not.
I feel flow moving up the back. Correcting the errors for the formerly videoed portions of today's efforts. Correcting the errors for today, this whole day, Tuesday, start to finish. Correcting the errors for the month that ended last night at midnight. Saying to the closing process, go straight up, and switch your 2 central axis, and intend to burst out the top of the head of that enormous dead guy. Intend to get to a consistent source of significantly higher vibration. And when you start to fall down, as you inevitably will, get off at that level. Tell the presences there what happened to you. Ask them, why did it happen that way? And then ask them if they're willing to join you in going up higher. And keep going up higher. Sending it up. And burning the experience of sentience to power them up. The intention to burn untruths and extract truths and power the closing process up. Waiving learner's permit. Asking for the grade.